How you doing? This is Gus here from CrossFit Glorified again with comments or questions that we get here at CrossFit Glorified in the box. So for today's question that I was asked, and it's come up a couple of times, this question. I don't make too much of a big deal about it. I try to answer as I could, but I want to get into it a little more so everyone kind of understands it. The question that I get is why there's so many price differences in CrossFit, especially in this area. There seems to be price difference on one box to another. So that's the question. Someone put it the other day, and you remember, say, why are you so cheap? Are you not really a true CrossFit affiliate? And they basically said, do you have to pay more royalties to keep it low? Do you have to pay more down to become? I was like, wait, hold on. First of all, CrossFit is not a franchise. It's owned by one man, Greg Glassman, and he owns CrossFit, and we pretty much license the name CrossFit itself and have the right to use it, and that's how you become an affiliate. And becoming an affiliate is the same worldwide and pretty much here in the United States, and everyone has to go through the same process, and that process is you take a level 1 course, you become certified level 1 course. They recommend you study for about 6 months. You have about a year's experience in CrossFit. You pay an affiliate fee, you get insurance, you get a website, and you have a physical location to host a box. And that's how you become an affiliate. And you pick a name for it, and if your name is accepted, then you have, for example, ours is CrossFit Glorified, and you have a bunch of other CrossFits, and that's how you get the name. So everyone has to go under the same thing. You also are asked to write an essay about your background and how'd you get into CrossFit and why do you want to do this? And that's how you go about becoming an affiliate. And now the price is determined by the affiliate itself. CrossFit doesn't say, here's what you should be asking of the clients for your services. That depends to what you determine. Now, what determines that? When I lived up north in Connecticut, it was about $200 a month. So if you had you and your wife, you're paying $400. That's quite a bit. If you go out to California, some places could be up to $300. Manhattan, you play a place I've heard are $400 a month. So depending on the demographics, obviously the price seems to vary. And I think that's basically the answer to it right there. Your real estate value is what's going to make the difference. I mean, if you're paying outrageous numbers for a piece of real estate that you're leasing, or you have a big mortgage on it, you have to obviously charge more than someone else. That's one factor that I think is the biggest factor. The next factor that I would say is, let's talk about equipment. I mean, when you go to your CrossFit affiliates, every CrossFit has their basic things. What I like to call the basic things is, your bars, your plates. You go into most affiliates, they'll have wall balls for wall ball shots. They'll have a rig for pull-ups. They'll have rings for muscle-ups. You'll have your boxes for box jumps and things like that. And then you go to other affiliates, I'll have more things. You'll start seeing, like, we have worms here, for example, willows, jerk blocks. All that is additional thing, pegboards, all more equipment that you have. So the more equipment you have, the more expense, obviously, if you're not buying it outright. For some of the affiliates, they have to take out loans on their equipment through the companies they do, and they're paying that on a monthly fee as well. So that will add on the real estate, your equipment, if you bought it outright, if you don't own it, if you are real estate value, if you own it, if you don't, if you're leasing and you have that monthly expense. Your coaches, the next thing would be your coach. How many coaches do you have on payroll? How big is that payroll? And that determines how many members you need, and we can go on and on. So everyone puts a price according to that. The next factor that I've heard is also, all because the coach's experience and so on, that you're paying for that. But pretty much in CrossFit, like I said, you start with a level 1. There's all these specialty courses you can get, and you can go ahead and educate yourself more, and it's an ongoing process. So for me, I got my level 1, and then after 2 years, I decided I need to get my level 2. I got my level 2, and I've done a bunch of specialty courses. For example, for me, weightlifting was one I wanted to do. It wasn't my background, so I said, let me learn more about weightlifting, and I'm still learning, and there's more certifications I want to do, but I got a weightlifting certification through CrossFit. And then obviously mobility was another one. I said, let's learn about mobility. That's another one I got. And then I want to learn how to scale, and I got a certification in regards to scaling, and then gymnastics, and then got that, and so on and so on. And then you want to learn these different things. For me, there's an endurance one. I didn't really think I needed to get an endurance one at this time. I wanted to do it at one point, but it wasn't what I wanted to do because I come from a soccer background. So having come from a soccer background, I think I can teach a lot of people about endurance, stamina, agility, coordination, balance, and those things with absolutely no problems. I've done it all my life. It's the same thing if I go into a box and there's a coach and his background was gymnastics. I don't think he really needs to take that gymnastics course. He could, obviously. I'm not saying it wouldn't benefit him, but he'd probably be better off taking the weightlifting one if he's never done weightlifting. Or if there's a weightlifter who's weightlifted all his life, he's probably better off doing the endurance, stamina, and so on. And you need to educate yourself as much as possible. And every coach, I think, brings a different level to the playing field, some more than others, depending on their background. And our box here, having over 20 years of experience coaching, and that's all I've done all my life is coach at a high level in soccer and played at a high level, that gives me an advantage when I transfer that over to CrossFit. And I've been doing CrossFit for over 5 years now and coaching for over 3 years. We've been an affiliate for over 3 years now. So every box has different reasons, and I think those are the main reasons why the price would be different. But what I've noticed is people say, well, it's not worth that much. I tend to disagree. I don't think that paying, for example, $150, if that's what you're paying at an affiliate, and ours is obviously 50 or 60% lower than the competition around here. I've done my research. Everyone always that comes here says, man, you're so low compared to someone. Why am I paying so much? I don't think that paying 150 or paying 7 or paying 8 or 120, whatever you're paying a month, is a disadvantage, or it's too expensive, or it's just out of reach if you think about your health and how important your health is. And also, just one key factor. I used to up north go before CrossFit to LA Fitness, and I've also gone to other boxing. When I had personal one-on-one training, I was getting hit $60 an hour session. And I'm sure around here in this area, in Johnson City and Limestone, Telford, wherever you're at, you're going to be within $40 to $60 range an hour to be one-on-one. If you think about CrossFit, and if you're paying, let's say that 150 and do that the amount of times you go, if you go 4 times a week, 5 times a week, and that's 5 hours, if you were to get a private session 5 hours and you're paying $60, it's $300 a week. It's $1,200 a month for a private session. And you may say, well, I'm not really getting a private in CrossFit. But you are. If you think about it, you might have 6 people, 7 or 8 people in a class. And that's a 1 to 8 ratio for a coach who has experience in CrossFit, who has been certified, who's taken time to educate him or herself in order to help you get better. And with 8 people they have to keep an eye on, it's not bad. In most classes around here, I would say no matter the box, unless you're in a box that's having 20 plus, then it's a different story, because I believe a 1 to 10 ratio is about right. In soccer, we used to say anything about 1 to 10 with players development becomes hard to keep your eye on them. So I think 1 to 8 is really good, and that's what you get in most boxes. I mean, some boxes might get more, and at that point, it's recommended, they should have 2 coaches or even 3 coaches to keep an eye. So here we usually tend in the evening classes to have our 2 coaches once we go past 12, and that's fine. I would still be 1 eye to every 6. So if you look at it from that perspective, you're getting a private session one-on-one for, let's say it's $100 and you're coming 30 times. It's really not much when you start doing the math and realize what you're paying for. On top of that, you're using stuff that you won't find at a regular gym, that you only find in CrossFit as far as equipment goes. We don't use a lot of equipment. We have rowers, we have assault bikes, things like that are common. We have treadmills here. Not every CrossFit has that. But you'll see very little equipment because we believe we're the machine, we're the equipment. But the stuff you do have in here, sometimes not found. L-sit, to be able to do L-sits, roll to do ab rollers and stuff like that. Mobility stuff, things like that are not common in your regular gym. So that's an advantage for you. We're looking at it, and I'm looking at it and saying, to answer that question, for me, I was able to put something together at low cost because I did some research on demographics. Having a background in owning sports facilities, I knew that if I was able to remodel something within my own property, I'd be able to keep the cost down for the clients, for the people here, realizing that not everyone, for someone, 150 might not be a lot. For someone, it might be a lot. For us here, 65 might be a lot for someone, but it might not for someone else, depending on their economical situation. But the demographics here says you have to be at a certain price point. So we wanted to offer a good service with pretty much the best equipment. I believe we have the best stuff out there right now around here in boxes. We have a lot of equipment, and we wanted to offer quality and good coaching for everyone at a very affordable price, and eliminating the excuse of not getting fit. And this is what it comes down to. Your health is the most important thing, and it should be the most important thing. Just like eating is a very important thing, or you won't do nothing. Taking care of yourself daily is a very important thing. And we want to provide that service here at CrossFit Glorified. We're not taking away from anyone else and what they do at their box, because everyone, like I said, has a price point. They have to meet certain things. There are great coaches. I've been able to meet great coaches all around here. And I think right now in this community, in the surrounding towns, we have some very awesome coaches. These guys know what they're doing. These gals know what they're doing, and you're going to benefit no matter what box you go to. But to answer the question, for us, we're able to do it from an economical perspective and bring the price down enough to where we're at. And that's the reason we're lower. It has nothing to do with we're not a true affiliate, or so-and-so and all these speculations of all coaching and equipment. That's not the right equipment and that stuff, because obviously for those who've been here realize it's the right equipment, it's the right coaching, and we're doing things right. So I want to touch base on that because people have asked in regards to that, and I hope that answers that question. That's what we've been getting, and hopefully that answers that question and puts it behind us. If you have any more questions in regards to that, I would love to answer it. Next week, what we're going to talk about is another topic, and I want to touch on it right now, which I think would be interesting because it goes a little bit with this, and it's going to be programming. So Coach Gus here, I'm going to talk to you guys about programming and really break it down, what we're doing here in CrossFit Glorified for your programming, for your benefit, and why we're doing it, and the way the programming is done and how I come up with the programming, and really explain it, since that question has come up as well, why I want to really have it for you guys to be able to enjoy and see. Hope to see you next week. Take care here from CrossFit Glorified. Coach Gus. Have a great one.